So like I said, we get a whole lot more in depth in this into the Sales Management Mastery Academy and how to actually use this information to get the best out of your salespeople. But let's get right into the 10 questions here on this show. So the first question is, what drives you? Now, this is sort of a basic question, I think, for every salesperson. And chances are you may or may not get the real answer here. So just this question unto itself is an extremely important question. But taken with all the other 9 questions, you get a much more rounded out view of exactly what motivates your salespeople. So what drives you is your question number 1. The second question is, what are the barriers standing in your way of ultimate success? Now, these can be either perceived barriers that they may think are standing in their way. They could be administrative or organizational barriers that are standing in their way. Either way, if it's a perceived or real barrier, it's very important for you to talk to your salesperson about this specifically. Now, if you're doing this in a questionnaire, then certainly have them fill it out. But then if there's something in this particular question answer that you're not clear on or you need further clarification, this definitely warrants a sit-down meeting with your salesperson to go through it specifically. The third question is, what are you shooting for in your current position? Now, this will give you sort of a short to mid-term motivation as far as where they want to go. Do they want to just make money? Do they want to become a senior salesperson? Do they want to put themselves in a position to get promoted to sales management? What is it sort of on a short or medium term basis that they're shooting for in their current role? So, and number 4 is, how do you get paid? Now, number 1 is what drives you. So what drives you, typically a lot of salespeople will just say commissions or money, that kind of thing. So this is number 4. It's number 4 sort of for a reason, is that it clarifies that first answer. If they don't know how they get paid, and specifically in really specific terms how they get paid, like every nuance of your bonus and commission plan, then chances are they're really not motivated by money. So you might want to look back towards question number 1 and further clarify that. If you're so motivated by money, how do you actually get paid? How are you going to make the most amount of money with our compensation program? If you're being compensated on dollar volume versus units, market share versus market trend, what is it specifically how you get paid? So number 5 is, where do you see your career heading? This is sort of a dovetail to question number 3. But where do you see your career heading is probably a medium to longer term goal that they may have. Now, this may include something like becoming a sales manager or making more money or being the vice president of sales. You know, where do they really want to go as far as their career goes? So you can help them get there in steering your conversations with them in order to facilitate that happening over the course of time. And that's a super motivator, like we said. And you can use this in your daily interactions with them in order to draw the best out of them in order for them to achieve that goal in the medium to long term. At number 6, this is a question relating right back to our vice president of sales story that we just talked about. How do you like to be praised? Do you like it publicly, privately, written, or verbal? And I think in our story that we talked about before the 10 questions here, we went into that in a little bit more detail to clarify that. Obviously very important to find out specifically how they like to most get praised, because if you're doing it publicly and they don't like it publicly, then you're not going to motivate them. Number 7 is, what's the most significant recognition you've ever received, and why was it so memorable? So this is obviously a very important one for them, because recognition is a super motivator of salespeople, and we go into this in way more detail inside the Academy, inside our Motivate course. But this is a hugely important one, because recognition, how do they want to be recognized? Is it public praise? Is it by rankings? Is it by whoever gets the biggest commission? Is it by voicemails being sent out that show exactly where everyone stands on a quarterly or weekly or monthly basis, depending on how your sales come in? Number 8 is, what are you best at in sales? And this is an important question to ask, because you want to be able to harness their true talents. And what they think are their talents, you might not think is their talents, but you can sort of compare and contrast exactly how they perceive themselves. What am I best at? Am I best at closing, presentations? Am I best at rapport building? Am I best at business savvy? What is it that they feel that they are best at? And then you can turn around and you can harness that to the best of your knowledge and best of your ability through your interactions with them, motivating them all the way. Now, number 9 and number 10 are really more for your information as to how you can motivate them. But number 9 is, tell me about your best boss. Who was your best boss, and how did he get the best out of you? This is going to give you the exact answer of how you should motivate them. Because as a motivator of salespeople, you do have to be flexible. Remember, we're asking all these questions because each individual salesperson has their own individual motivations, and you want to be able to find this out very, very quickly. Number 10 is tell me about your worst boss. This will tell you on the opposite end of the spectrum how not to motivate them or how not to lead them. And how did that worst boss bring the worst out of you, or why was he so bad? So this is more along the lines of what not to do. So those are the 10 questions that we ask our salespeople here at the Sales Management Mastery Academy. And like I said, we get into this a whole lot more in detail inside the Motivate Your Sales Team to Peak Performance course, which you can get at salestraininggift.com. But for right now, these 10 questions are a great start for you to go out and at your very next sales meeting, write them out on a sheet of paper, ask them to your salespeople, and then maybe have individual one-on-one conversations with them after you gather this information so that you can really clarify how to motivate each one. And that's the easy way to motivate salespeople. Now, for hundreds of other sales management techniques and strategies, such as this one, you can find them in the Sales Management Mastery Academy, along with dozens of done-for-you resources to help you and your sales managers achieve ultimate sales management success. To claim your free sales manager training, including the How to Motivate Your Sales Team to Peak Performance course inside the Sales Management Mastery Academy, visit salestraininggift.com. That's it for this episode of Sales Management Mastery. Until next time, wishing you ultimate sales management success.
You've been listening to the sales management, motivational, and leadership training expert, Ralph Burns. Ralph invites you to discover the sales manager training secrets that will unleash a flood of new sales from your sales team. Visit salestraininggift.com and you'll get instant access to your choice of life-changing sales manager training techniques, only taught in the internationally acclaimed Sales Management Mastery Academy online community. Go now to salestraininggift.com. Sales Management Mastery.